If you want to fail before you start your Amazon business, then choose a supplier. And if you want to succeed, then watch this video because I'm going to be showing you the step-by-step process I use for my 7-figure brands when it comes to finding quality suppliers. So first things first, we're going to head over to Alibaba.com, and this is where we're going to be sourcing 95% of our products from. You can also source from US-based suppliers with websites such as thomasnet.com, but I would really only suggest working with US-based suppliers if you're selling some sort of food product or if you're selling some sort of beauty/skincare product. Most of the time, suppliers in China are going to be the way to go simply because of price, and you can still find quality suppliers, which I'm about to show you in a second. By the way, if you want an even more in-depth video on this, you can check out the free training in the description, as I have a video which goes even more into depth on the specific topic. But let's get started. So we're in Alibaba, and the first thing we're gonna do is it's actually gonna auto-select products, but we're gonna switch from products to manufacturers. Now, what this is going to do is it's basically going to make sure that Alibaba is giving us the most relevant and highest quality suppliers, as opposed to if we search by products, it'd really just be any sort of supplier and not the most verified suppliers. Whereas if we were to select something like products, it's just gonna give us pretty much any supplier. And so let's search up a random product here. Let's just go bamboo cutting board, the classic example I use. And we can see, okay, so it's going to bring up a number of different suppliers that are offering this product. And there's a few things that I want to look for. It's not super in depth, but this is what I am looking for when it comes to the first initial suppliers I'm going to reach out to. And I would suggest reaching out to at least 20 to 30 suppliers. And it sounds like a lot, but it's important to realize that you want to be able to negotiate with multiple suppliers so that you can kind of leverage them over each other and get the price. And also make sure that you're getting the best quality because there's a lot of different suppliers to choose from. So first I'm looking at this right here, the verified badge and years of experience. So I usually want to see at least 2 years of experience, and I prefer if they are a verified supplier. This just means they've gone through a number of different things in order to get that specific badge. You can click on it and see kind of the specifics of what are involved in that, but verified is usually a better sign than if they're not. Although if they're not and they have 2 years of experience, I'd still probably reach out. The part where you really are able to narrow down whether a supplier is good or not is once you actually start to communicate with them. So what I'm gonna do to start reaching out to these suppliers is I'm actually gonna add them to our favorites list by clicking this heart. But before I do that, I just wanna be clear on the images that you are seeing here, because the product that you might be selling, maybe it's not the exact same designs as you see here. But what you have to understand is these suppliers manufacture a number of different products. And if you're unsure if they make the exact design you want, first of all, just reach out. Or if you want to look further into the supplier, you can actually click on them and it'll take you to their profile, and you can actually scroll down and all of them will have a product category most likely. So you can see right here, we can select products and it'll show you all of the products that this company manufactures. Oftentimes, the companies will manufacture a number of different products. For example, they might not just be doing cutting boards. We can see they're also doing pizza boards and salt and pepper, chip and dip, bug tree, a bunch of random different things. So you can get more information on them if you want to click into them, although it's typically not necessary. So I'm going to head back. And so I'll start going through these suppliers and I'm going to start adding them to my favorites list. I'm not going to add 20 to 30 right now, but again, I would suggest doing so. And again, just keeping in mind, verified ideally and at least 2 years of experience. So I'll go do this for, let's say, 5 of them. Nice thing is all of these are verified. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go hover over my profile here and we're going to click on favorites. We can see it says you don't have any favorited products. That's because it selected this products tab, but remember we switched to manufacturers, which the equivalent here is the suppliers tab. So we'll click this and we can see all the suppliers I selected are here. Now, one important thing to note is you might be like, okay, well, why is it showing these wooden chairs? Or why is it showing these different wooden accessories? Well, again, these manufacturers produce a number of different products. So these are just, filler images that they have here. They are indeed the ones that I selected. So don't be confused when you go and select these and get worried that they're not going to manufacture your product. They're just showing the different products that they make. So we're gonna click this. It used to bring up a way to actually select them all at once, but here we go down to the left, we can see select all. So select that. So it selects them all. And so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to the bottom right here and we're gonna do send inquiry. And so it's going to take us to this little type box here where we can actually send our initial message to all of our suppliers at once so that we don't actually have to send them one by one. And so what are we gonna send here? Well, here's my manufacturer script that we use to send to all the suppliers that we reach out to. And if you go into the free training, you can access this script which will be in the description. Again, just get into our free training and this will be in one of the videos to download. But let's just go over this briefly. So it's just making sure you sound somewhat professional when you reach out, because you might be a new seller. You want to make sure that they take you seriously. So, hey, my name is your name. I'm the lead purchasing agent of whatever your company is. Our CEO asked me to contact your company about working together in a potential lucrative business venture. So kind of stating your authority, making sure that you sound professional. We're an international, whatever niche that it is you're getting into. For example, this bamboo cutting board. We're an international home and kitchen company based out of the US or wherever you are. We'd like to introduce ourselves and express an interest in creating a long-term profitable partnership between our companies. And then this is probably one of the most important parts, your product specifications. So if you've watched my other videos, then you probably know that it's very, very important that you differentiate your products. And this is where you need to communicate these things to your supplier. Tell them and be clear on exactly what it is you want to your product, what you want to change to it. As I say here, include photos of your product you want to sell to make it clear for the supplier. You can include competitor links, people who are selling products similar to you so they have an idea, but be as clear as possible here, as this is an important part of your communication with your supplier. Now, you can actually change this if you want, since a lot of the suppliers are just going to be responding within Alibaba. So you don't have to say, please answer in red text, but oftentimes I used to bring them external to Alibaba and have them answer me there. But honestly, it's fine to communicate with all of them in Alibaba just so you're in one platform. Now, first question, may we get a sample of the product and how much will you charge, including DHL Express shipping to your address, and do it to your actual address? Or you can find someone in China if you want to do the sample for you. But if you're just getting started, it's nice to kind of get the sample your first time. And will we be refunded for the sample fee upon confirmation of our first order? And so the reason why we ask that is because with a lot of the suppliers, the sample product that you order will be refunded once you go ahead with the mass order. So you just want to make sure of that. So number two, do you have the ability to package your product in a custom box with our logo and UPC barcode placed on it? Pretty much all suppliers are going to be able to do this, but again, just asking to make sure. Now, number three, what is the cost of this product per unit, including custom packaging and DDP shipping for an MLQ, minimum order quantity, of 500 units and 1,000 units? We'd like to compare both quantities. So first of all, DDP basically means your cost of product plus the shipping. So you're basically going to get a quote on your total cost plus the shipping itself. Now, you probably want to hire a freight forwarder, which I'll talk about in a different video, but this is good to get from your supplier too, so you can compare. Now, in terms of the MLQs, I'm comparing against 500 and 1,000 just so that they know we're serious about this. We're not starting with 50 units or something. By the way, you don't have to start with 1,000, but it can actually make sense sometimes if the cost per unit is cheaper. And again, the reason why we're asking for 500 versus 1,000 is because you will get a bulk discount. The more you order, the cheaper the cost per unit. But general rule of thumb, I'll start with at least 500 units, sometimes 300 if it's a higher ticket item or if it's larger. Now, number four, how long will it take to manufacture and package 500 versus 1,000 units, just to get an idea of your lead time? And that's pretty much it for the initial questions. You say, I would be grateful if you would contact us to the answers to the above questions, as well as your shipping and other policies we may need to know. Please be as thorough as you can in your initial answers, as they will be a large determinant in of the manufacturer we select to partner with. Now, this red text down here is an Amazon warehouse. And the reason why I have this down here is, as I explained, use the address below in question number 3 to get a quote on DDP pricing, right? Because we asked for a quote on DDP, so they have to know where are we shipping the goods to. So this is just an example of an address. You can use this just to get an initial estimate, like I say here. But when you go to create your actual shipping plan, you will have a different address, but you just want to get an estimate ahead of time. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this. Again, you would obviously fill this in, make sure to put your name, make sure to paste this below number 3. I'm just going to show you. I would paste it into here, and then I would send inquiry now, and it would send it to all of these manufacturers at once. Now, one last thing that is important to note is you may not get responses from everyone. And sometimes when you do get responses from suppliers, it might just say hello or nice to meet you, and they won't actually answer any of your questions. Make sure that you follow up with the suppliers who don't answer, and make sure to double down on asking the same question if the suppliers don't answer those initial questions. It's normal. It's not a big deal. You'll get used to it as you communicate with suppliers. Now, of course, if you have difficulty communicating with a supplier and they've not answered you after following up multiple times, or they're not answering these initial questions, then it's probably a sign that they have bad communication and you can move on. But make sure you follow up with the ones who initially don't answer, because it can happen. Now, lastly, before I hop off this video, I want to make sure that you guys are aware of how to actually narrow down your suppliers, which we'll probably go over further in a separate video. But keep in mind these three things: communication, lead time, which is how long it takes to make your products and ship, and price, of course. And once you order samples, you can then, of course, include quality into that, which is probably the most important aspect of it. But narrow down your 20 to 30 suppliers to your top 2 to 3 based on price, communication, and lead time so that you can order your samples and get closer to that further order. If you want to learn more about how to sell on Amazon, check out the link in the description. We have some free training. And if you want to apply to work with me one-on-one, you can book a free qualifying call. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.